Hey folks, I'm gearing up for a new series of PAC-T tests. Now PAC-T is precision, accuracy, consistency, and terminal performance. And what I'm going to be doing in this series is comparing two types of 9mm bullets. First of all, we have the traditional lead core 9mm bullets, like the Federal HST. This is the 124 grain plus P variety. Then I've got a new Spear Gold Dot. This is a 147 grain Spear Gold Dot, but it's called the G2 Next Generation. We'll talk more about that when we do this test. And I've got another 147 grain bullet. This one by Buffalo Bore Subsonic Heavy 9mm Standard Pressure Low Flash. Talk more about that when we get to testing that one as well. The other type of bullet that we'll be working with is a non-traditional 9mm bullet. No lead in it whatsoever. And sometimes these non-traditional bullets come at the lethality or the defense aspect in a little bit different way. We're going to be looking at and shooting this season the Corbon DPX, Deep Penetrating X Bullet, 115 grain 9mm. We'll be shooting the S&B XRG bullet. This is a 100 grain bullet, as well as the Novex 9mm 65 grain bullet. Really a light little bullet right there. And then we've got a couple more non-traditional bullets. The Honey Badger by Black Hills. This is a 125 grain bullet. And the Barnes TAC XPD 115 grain bullet. Along the way, I'm also going to be testing two 45 ACP bullets. This is the new Hornady Handgun Hunter 160 grain monoflex bullet. This one's stepping it up pretty good. 1110 feet per second, no longer subsonic with this one. And then we have the 185 grain Golden Saber bonded. I've never shot this one either. Bonded bullet from Remington in the Golden Saber. Now, I'm going to be focusing a lot of this upcoming series on those 9mm bullets. And what I'm going to be doing is, number one, we will be running our standard PAC-T test. I'll explain that as we go into each individual test later on in the upcoming videos. But one thing I'm doing different is I'm going to be testing two bullets during each of our upcoming episodes, and I'm going to be putting those two bullets head to head in a competition to see which one is better. And as all those different bullets proceed through this competition, the next round of competition will become increasingly more difficult for those two bullets. Now here are the rules. Number one, as I already alluded to, I will be following our standard PAC-T protocol. Now the scoring of the PAC-T really focuses on terminal performance, and it looks at penetration, weight retention, and expansion. Now one thing to note about expansion is we will talk about total expansion. I'll also give you the percent expansion, but what's really more important, well, I'll ask you, what do you think is more important? Percent expansion or total actual expansion? Well, in a terminal performance lethality perspective, definitely the total actual expansion. Much more important that you're pushing through, let's say, a 3/4 inch size projectile compared to a 1/2 inch diameter projectile, right? You get that. So yes, I will be reporting percent expansion, but we're actually focusing on actual expansion with the scoring mechanism that we use in the PAC-T tests. The second rule is each of these bullets must penetrate at least 4 inches into the gel block. And by the way, I will be using 20% NATO gel block, a little bit tougher, more dense medium to get through. So it has to penetrate at least 4 inches into that gel block, but yet no more than 22 inches in the gel block. I'm using 16-inch gel blocks. I'll be backing it up with a second 16-inch gel block. And so that's how we will determine our over penetration. 22 inches on that far side. Anything beyond that is considered over penetration. Bullets will then be disqualified if they exhibit that particular trait or any of those particular traits. Now, 2 of these bullets have already gone through our standard PAC-T test. In fact, they've gone through numerous PAC-T tests, and those are the Federal HST 124 grain and the Corbon DPX 115 grain. So because these have already proven to be actually the 2 best bullets I've ever tested, they get a bye through a couple go-rounds. Not a complete bye and automatically declared champions or anything like that, but they get a bye through a couple of go-rounds. I'm going to be testing, first of all, some of the lightweight 9mm bullets. And those are, once again, the 65 grain Novex bullet and the 100 grain S&B XRG Defense bullet. The winner of that competition will proceed to the next go-round. Then I'll be testing 2 medium weight bullets, the 115 grain Barnes TAC XPD. Nice bullet. I have actually tested a similar bullet in the 45 ACP TAC XPD, really a good bullet. So this one will be put head-to-head with the Black Hills Honey Badger 125 grain bullet. The winner of this one will compete against the winner here, and then that winner will compete against Corbon DPX. On the traditional bullet side, looking at those 2 147 grain bullets, the new Gold Dot G2 and the Buffalo Bore, also 147 grain. The winner of this one goes up against this Federal HST. The final competition between the best traditional bullet and the best non-traditional bullet will be going through a grueling ultimate challenge that I'm hoping at least one of those bullets will be able to pass. Why am I doing this? Well, number one, it's fun, and it's fun because it's really interesting. Number two, I'm doing this because, well, any bullet, let me say this, any bullet can be lethal. So we don't have to necessarily have that one fantastic bullet, and that's the only one any of us ever carries. Any bullet can be lethal. However, those marginally lethal or so-so bullets require that shooter to really place their shots well or do an awful lot of shooting. Put out that firepower, empty that mag, or reload and empty another one, those sorts of things. So having a really good bullet that you're going to end up trusting your life to, for me at least, it makes sense to carry the best thing I can. And I want to test those bullets in a bunch of different ways, and hopefully I end up finding an excellent bullet that I can carry, and I feel very confident in the bullet and in my skills as a shooter to get myself out of a problem if that ever happens. Now, those great bullets, yes, you're always going to be far better off with a well-placed shot, no doubt about it. But those great bullets give you a little bit more margin for error in those sorts of stressful, very, very fast happening situations. And when they hit that target, they will be all the more devastating to do their job as they're supposed to. Well, I hope you are as excited as I am for our series of tests. I'd like to hear your thoughts, your comments, your ideas on what we're about to do. Maybe you've got some ideas for some additional bullets that I can test along the way. And as always, thank you for watching.